So our meat's all cooked, and our onions and garlic are just about where I want them. We're going to put all that in right with the meat in this nice big saucepan. Get all that goodness in there. And then to that we're going to add our mushrooms as well. Oh, those yummy mushrooms to put in here. Try not to spill any. Alright. Put all those in there. Give that a little stir. There you go. And now we're going to add our sauce. And you can use any brand you like. I've got a nice large jar here because we're, again, making a double batch. So I'm just going to add that in there. Give that a little stir. Try not to spill it and splatter and all that good stuff. And at this point you want to turn this down to simmer because we're just going to let that cook for a while. If you have fresh parsley from the garden, that's when I like to add that. Unfortunately, my parsley didn't do very well in my garden this year, so we're using pre-dried stuff. A little Italian seasoning, I'm going to say about half a teaspoon. And then I'm lucky enough that I did get a lot of tomatoes from the garden, so I've got some fresh canned tomatoes. And I'm going to add those in there too, just for some more yummy goodness. And give that all a stir. Alright, we're going to let that simmer for a little bit and start frying up our eggplant. We're also going to add some basil to that sauce, and I happen to get a nice supply of basil from my garden this year too, and I pre-washed this yesterday and wrapped it in some paper towels and stored it in the refrigerator overnight, so it's all ready to go. And what you want to do is just pick off these leaves, get yourself a nice pile, and then we'll show you how to slice them from there. There is nothing like the smell of fresh basil from the garden. I love it. Sometimes I love to just pick it, since I get it in such abundance, just to bring it in and bring it into the kitchen because it just leaves such a nice aroma all through the house. It's almost kind of a licoricey smell. Okay, what you want to do is take these leaves and kind of stack them up like that. And you're just going to do little bits at a time. Maybe get about 10 leaves in there, and you can roll it. And then just very thinly slice that as thin as you can. And you can take that, chop it the other way, and keep on chopping until you get this as fine as you can. We can do that. Okay, so now we're going to take all that basil that we just chopped up. Just kind of sprinkle that lightly over the top and stir it in there ever so gently. And we're going to let that simmer for a while. And this is where the work begins, is breading all of this eggplant. Okay, now comes a lot of the work. You got to fry up the eggplant. I'm lucky enough to get a huge, bountiful amount of these eggplant this year. I've already made a couple batches and have some in the freezer. But you want to get them when they're about this size, maybe a little larger. If you let them get too big, they start to get bitter. So you just get them this size, wash them off real good. I'm going to slice off the top there. A lot of people will leave the skins on, but I feel like that sort of leaves it a little bitter as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just peel these. And after we peel them, I'm going to show you how to slice them. It's actually really good to slice these lengthwise, otherwise you'll be frying all night. You want to get yourself a nice, long, straight knife. You don't want to do these too thin, but you don't want to get them too thick either. I would say anywhere between 1/4 to 1/2 inch is good. That way you won't be frying for 6 hours, but you'll get enough pieces to make a bunch. So, and you just keep doing this, and as I said, I'm using about 6 to 8 of these to do 2 batches. Now, through the magic of TV, we have a lot of eggplant that's ready to be fried here. So, we need a little fortification. I'm ready for the next glass of wine, which is one of the songs I sing. A bottle of wine and Patsy Cline, and everything's alright. Okay, now comes the frying of the eggplant. I'm going to start off with 4 eggs. If we need more as we go along to fry all these pieces, we can always make more, but I like to start off with 4. Switch and whisk. Whisk those up a little bit. Just like you would scramble an egg. We're going to add about 1/2 cup of water to it. This is just kind of an egg wash to help the breadcrumbs stick to the eggplant pieces. Alright, we've got our breadcrumbs, and I'm using the Italian seasoned kind, just to add a little more flavor. Now we're going to take our first piece of eggplant. This is a big piece. Actually, before I do that, I need to heat up my olive oil. And again, I like to add some butter to this because I just think it helps with the browning process. So we'll just use a little dab of that. Get that going in there. Alright, so I'm going to take this, dip it in there, coat it really good on both sides, bring it right over to your breadcrumbs, and I salt and pepper each piece. Get that to stick in there and flip it over. Get that to stick. We're going to get another plate. Put our pieces as they get done before we put them into that oil when it's ready. Alright. And you're just going to keep on doing this. Dip it in the egg wash. Put it in your breadcrumbs. Salt and pepper each piece. Alright, we'll get to frying in just a minute. I'm still doing a little breading here yet. I think our oil and butter is heated up in the pan. We're getting ready to pop these babies in there and get them till they're nice and brown on each side. Got that one. I'll do some smaller pieces of that because they're not all going to fit in that pan. Those other large ones. Whoops. Okay. I'm going to do the same thing in this pan. This is where I can take one of my larger pieces. And just fry them up until they get a little brown on each side. Okay, so it needs to get nice and golden brown like that on each side. Flip those. After you get your oil initially heated, you want to turn it down to about medium because otherwise these will start to burn. You don't want that to happen. Okay, we've made progress here, and it's time to take some more of these out of here. When they get brown, I try usually stacking them like a nice 13 by 9 cake pan, so you got something to hold them all in when we go to put these all together a little later on. Before I put some more in there, I'm going to taste this sauce that's been simmering for a while and see if it needs anything. I'm thinking it's needing a little salt. Where did I put my salt? Now each one of these pieces of eggplant has been salted and peppered as well. So that's going to add some flavor too. So you don't want to over salt your sauce too much. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil to this pan, along with a little butter. And keep on frying. We'll check back with you in a minute. The last one. Alright. These are perfect. Mmm. Yum, yum, yum. And we're going to flip these. Nope, not yet. Those are starting. Still breading. Doing our egg wash and breading. Couple more pieces left. You just kind of keep adding your breadcrumbs to it as you need to go along here. That was one big eggplant. Alright, put it in there, flip it. Make sure you get it coated nice and thick so it absorbs all that good sauce. We'll put another of these over here on a plate. I think that's ready to turn now. Okay. Beautiful. That one's done. I'll add one of these. Bada boom, bada bing. Alright. A few more pieces to thread here. And then we're going to start putting this thing together.